Hi. Okay, this is a general intro that I'm going to add to every one of the 12 readings I'm about to do for each sign individually, but I've got the cards organized right now. I'm going to do house readings. I'm going to go for each sign. I'm going to check each of your 12 houses, what your energy is in them, and that's my idea of the most accurate sort of diagnosis I can come up with. You know, it would be my version of, you know, it's similar to the, well, it's not similar to a Celtic cross or something, but in terms of not just my free flow normal readings. So what I wanted to show in introduction was how I'm going to use the cards to classify a bit. I'm going to identify, I'll put, one card will be up here, so whatever your sign you are that you're going to be identifying with in the reading, it'll be up here. For me, this is Aries energy, Leo energy, and Sagittarius energy, but by houses, by first, fifth, and ninth houses, right? That's what how I'm classifying the energy. So you might very well be King and Queen energy and watching for Aries, right? So I'll what I'll do is I'll have the Page of Wands up, identifying it as Aries, but the other cards will go back in the deck. So if you are coming out in Knight or Queen or King energy and it needs to come out in the reading, then it will, okay? And we'll correctly identify. So similar, Taurus, because we all know, I keep going on about this, I reclassified Earth and Air to match the houses, but also there are more reasons to reclassify them in their cardinal, mutable, and fixed energies than just the cardinal points that Ptolemy gave them. So I'll make a video arguing that out. I explain it most videos, but Taurus at Page, cardinal energy, Virgo, Knight, and then the entrepreneur, because of the career house, the 10th house is career house, so King and Queen energy for Capricorn, okay? But again, same old. If you're watching for that sign and you're in other, you know, you're in a particular energy, then it'll come through in the deck, because I'll just put the one card up as a signifier and the others will be back mixed in with the deck. So Gemini, and otherwise, so remember Earth and Air I've reclassified. Gemini, Libra as the Knight, and Aquarius as Queen and King because of 11th house, 3rd house, 7th house, and 11th house, okay? And Cups, Cancer, 4th house, Scorpio, 8th house, and 12th house with Pisces. And I would make note that with Pisces, because the 12th house is all houses, and Pisces can take on the qualities, the attributes of any sign, because they've been through all of them. So this Queen and this King wear all the crowns. Even more so than how we classify with the Emperor, right? Or even the Empress. These two, because they're all signs and all houses, they wear all 8 crowns. So that's how I classify those. They'll be representing your sign. For the houses, I know that this is typically in tarot, this is an Aquarius card, but I like it to be, I'm going to use it, it can be identified with Aries in first house, yes. And so I believe in astrology it's used as a first house card, is how I first learned it. So I'm going to use it for first house. I'm going to use the Hierophant. I often, in my astrology work, I'll use him as Chiron, as a planet placement, but I'd rather use him in this. I won't worry about a Chiron card. I'm going to use him as the 2nd house. Lovers for 3rd house. Chariot, because it gets confusing between the, I use the High Priestess card, which is normally a 4th house card. I use her as a Lilith placement, which may or may not come out in the reading, but I'll know if it is. And Lilith, as a lunar experience placement, can be magnetisms and polarities. So they'll give me definite messages if I need. So I'm using the Chariot because that is a 4th house card. It's a Cancer card, so it might as well be used. I'm using the Strength card for 5th house, yes. Of course, Hermit for 6th house, Justice for 7th house, Death for 8th house, Temperance, of course, for 9th house. And I get torn with this because I know it's Capricorn, but it's I could use the World card, but I use the World card for Saturn as a planet placement. So I'm going to use Capricorn's card, the Devil, for 10th house, Aquarius and the Star. And I do equate the Tower more with 11th house with Uranus than with Mars and Pluto in Scorpius. It's a split camp. If you go researching online, it's as far as I know, it's a 50-50 split. But I've done my research, and I've got my articles that I refer to that identify the issues that the Tower brings more with Uranus issues. So I'm going to use the Star, obviously, for Aquarius. And then in astrology, the moon is Cancerian, but in tarot, it is Pisces. So, and I need it because Hangman has the Neptune meaning. So these will be, I will use these. They won't be in the deck. They're going to be signifying the houses. So they're going to stay out of it. So what we do in place of them, and they'll be up here. I'll just have one card up at the top, and that'll show which house we're working on. And then for the planets, right? So these will be put back in the deck so that if there's a house that's affecting your house that we're reading about, or there's a planet affecting that, right? Then we have them mirrored, right, by their rulers here. So Sun and Leo, the 5th house. Mercury, so the Magician is Mercury in 3rd house. Of course, Venus, 2 houses. We've got 7th house and 2nd house there. So, and we're going to use High Priestess as Lilith. So any lunar house she might represent, right? But let's say she typically represents the moon, so that would be Cancerian. But Mars, right? Emperor. Jupiter, the wheel. Saturn, the world. So for me, Uranus, the Tower, Hanged Man, Neptune, and Judgment, Pluto. Okay, so those will be put back in the deck. And now let's get to your individual readings, and I hope that makes sense. That's what I do when I'm using the cards in chart work. And now, I'll break for a moment, and I'll be right back. Hey Leo, okay, let's see where you're at. I wanted to sort of get a bit of an energy to start off with, like an overall energy. I got the 9 of Pentacles sideways, so I feel like there's some serious career energy going on for you. And proving yourself to yourself, proving yourself to everyone, and basically whether or not it actually feels like you have the money and everything, the reputation, or if it's still like it's there, but the money, like the vision is there, the reality is there ahead of you, but the money still isn't there. I'm not sure. So let's start with your first house. This would be the house of your rising sign. Again, like I'm saying to everybody, to get an accurate rising sign, you need to use sidereal placements. You need to use sidereal birth chart. And I'll where do I go to? AstroSeek, I believe, but I will get the link for that, because there's very few places to go to get an actual, like where you have full control over the settings for a birth chart. So this first house, now this is an Aquarius card in tarot, but it's also, but in astrology for houses, it's a first house card, the Fool. And so what else do I want to say? First house, because this is typically an Aquarius card, then it would be connected to Uranus and Saturn, right? But for first house, it's connected to Aries and Mars. And Mars is your hearts, your heart, your loves, your loyalties. I mean, Venus is a form of that as well, but in more of a prenuptial, like negotiating, sort of making sure all needs are met kind of situation. With Mars, it's, what are you, where's the fire? That kind of part of love. And loyalties, yeah, absolutely, like sort of blind loyalties at times, but your trajectory, your trajectory, your methods, your inner way of doing things is often outer, right? So in order to be accurate about that, I'm not saying we're going to reflect what's in your rising sign, but this is the house of your rising sign. So where are you at in that energy? And so I go through that little preamble just in case you have the wrong idea of what if tropical needs to be adjusted. You might still fall within that same sign, and a first house can run through several signs. Mine starts in Scorpio and goes all the way into Capricorn, right? So I do mostly resonate with Scorpio when I go to readings. I'll tend to just, if you're pressed for time, then, what energy do you most often connect with, right? But certainly Sagittarius plays a huge part in the way I do things, and Capricorn. So you can technically have more than one rising sign as far as I'm concerned. But you need it to be accurate, because that's where the stars actually are. If you go to Sky Safari or Stellarium.net, or Sky Safari on phone, you can get Stellarium for phone as well, and watch the actual placements of the planets in live astronomy. Then you'll see that, the precession was real, and everything is about 24 degrees behind where tropical puts them. I still use tropical because seasons still apply. Not weather seasons, but sign seasons. All right. So while I'm chatting, we have something in progress. We have a Knight of Cups in progress. Now, is this you or it's you? Because we're talking about you. So this is Scorpio energy. Now, when I get it on a 45-degree angle, it means the little shorthand that we've developed, me and my guides and my God, is that it's not stuck, right? Sideways would be stuck. Upright is, ready to go. Now we have a fair bit of work to get him to the upright. He's not like this, yes, then it would just be a slight adjustment. He's like this. So there's some sort of transformation going on, because the Knight of Cups for me, the way I've worked it out for myself so that I have this immediate understanding, not that I'm saving us time by explaining it, but he goes along with the 5, 6, 7 of Cups. So there's something either about a necessary change, a gift coming through from a family member, or somebody like a soulmate, or a spirit guide on the other side, right? Oftentimes I think because of its Scorpio energy, then it's something coming through from someone on the other side, so to speak. Or it's an actual transformation. Sevens I count as transformations, and so that would be working with guides completely. And stepping with, like, having one foot in this world and one foot in the next. Now, in the traditional sense, there could be a love situation, right? There's movement, because the Knight is movement and communication, but because we need to adjust, so there's possibly you're hung up on whether or not to communicate, whether or not to offer something, whether or not to reconcile. Okay, right, exactly. So we have 8 of Wands stuck, and we have in an opposing 45-degree angle divine timing and your own energy. So this is a big deal, Leo. This is you yourself coming into full power. So it is very transformative, absolutely. But communication and progress is halted. And we're going to find out why. I don't think we're going to know just inside of yourself. We've got to get through the rest of your houses. So let's do that. So we have progress. And look at how they're completely... You might have a square in your chart that's prompting you, that's pushing this action forward. That's what squares do, so far as I understand them. So there absolutely could be like a Pluto Sun square, or just any planets. We'll find it. Well, we won't try to find it. It's too much. You can only take so much in a reading, but that's a possibility. There's something in your chart that's explaining this. Be all end all. It is charted. So whatever it's showing up in your life as, it's because it's charted. These are instincts and triggers for me. The sun, that's what the sun represents. Of course, there could be a child involved, but since this is clearly your own energy, Leo, then I want to say more to do with self, and it could have everything to do with childhood, of course, you know, but basically, yeah, the main takeaway is, now it's either got you silent, yeah, okay, let's change a candle. I'm just gonna put these in the upright so that, no, not that way. Well, actually, yeah, let's do that. Helps me remember later on, because we'll check them. Okay, candle relit. Second house. Second house. I'll just chat about it as we go, right? But your finances, basically, your home situation, your security, your liabilities, your assets, your debts, you know, your investments. Did I say that already? So marriages, anything that's the matrix, that where any kind of authority that, you know, isn't a natural authority, because it's a superimposed authority, right, has bearing on your, you know, life as you experience it. Got sideways energy. Okay, that's a fun energy. Wow. Okay, so trying to make up your mind. Well, actually not sure how to make up your, not even making up your mind. For me, this is Gemini energy. Not sure what you know. Others would put it as Libra energy, but I put Gemini as cardinal because it's third house. I will spare you the explanation for all that. Going between the truth and what the truth's going to do, because it's over here and, you know, it's going to hurt. It could be over here, depending on if we're going to progress. If we go, I'm thinking it's over here, because if we go backwards, right, then it would be under the 2 and the 3 would be coming after it. But okay, what are we? Swords energy isn't necessarily, well, but it's important, right? But it doesn't speak of financial security, that's for sure. Okay, so here we go. We've got that. There's that Knight of Cups. We've got that transformation happening. So, swords and water energy in your earth, in your cardinal earth. For me, cardinal. I made earth Taurus cardinal as well as Gemini. Because it's second house. Okay, so, yeah. No, we're not going in the hallway right now. So we have a 7 of transformation. We have that Knight of Cups, absolutely. And it's affecting, it's in progress though. But safe to say, okay. And a bunch of soul contracts, it looks like to me. You've got Sagittarius energy here. And I'm sort of developing. Now, it could mean other, it could mean, I mean, we're near completion with something. Near completion with something. A 9th house energy. So 3, 8, 3rd house, 8th house, and 9th house energy. So very much something about what you believe and what you know. And your connections. Now this is not any of it charted timing. This is fluctuating energy, right? Because I don't have major arcana here. If we look at those 8 of Wands, so we've got heavy repeat between the 1st and 2nd houses. So there's just a lot of cardinal stuff here. There's a lot of, shall we say, even root work. Because got fire energy. Yeah, your mojo. This is Queen and King energy. But I mean, it's here. It is here. It's not missing, right? It's here. And we're going back towards the 9 of Wands, which is perseverance, proving yourself to everyone. That's what I think of 9s as. But basically, yeah, it feels like this, for me, what I understand when what I've been through in the past with this card, gradually, is to come to see it as a bunch of soul contracts. It can be a lot of work. It can just be a lot of projects. So you might have like all of those projects. Those could be all of your projects. What did I get? Because I said when I got when I checked general energy for you before doing the reading, and I got the Nine of Pentacles sideways, right? So you know, absolutely, it's either a lot of people or a lot of projects, and they're stuck. They're stuck, and you might not know. Well, you're trying to figure out how the hell they're going to bring you any money. There's no pentacles in your pentacle, in your cardinal pentacle house. So let's just solve this. Let's just solve this. Okay. Again, identity is a huge thing here, it seems. Third house, Gemini, Mercury. Oh, and of course Venus. So we have Mars and okay, hang on. Just a moment here. Now this is, I mean, we've got Venus ruling this house, yes? We have Mars ruling this house. Now, we just had Mars and Venus enter Leo. They're in Leo right now. Somebody will say that they're in Virgo. They are not. They are in Leo. Okay. That has to be significant, especially with Lionsgate portal coming up. So July 26th, thereabouts, and going to August 12th, with the peak day being August 8th. Right, so every kind of love. Every kind of love. Okay, so now Mercury affecting those wands. Wow, no shit. Okay, Leo. Cancer energy, and for me Aquarius energy, 11th house energy. Just to go with those 10 wands, yes, there's just a lot of projects or a lot of people. And I want to say more and more, I feel like it's a lot of projects that would connect you with a lot of people. But there is a disconnect. There's an instability in family or in friendship, or there's been a death. In which case I'm extremely sorry. Sometimes this card, it's been shown to me that they're indicating to me that there's been a death. But yeah, an instability for sure, because fours are stability. Proving yourself to everyone in the 11th house of legacy. Like, this is a carryover from, like, Gemini is what you know. This is the house of knowledge. This is the house of community. This is the house of ethics, right? The whole lie of Adam and Eve covering up the history of the African prophetesses, the Pythoness. And so, yeah, ethics in terms of truth. Is there bad or, you know, is there bad knowledge, good knowledge? Is there a bad way to get knowledge? No, it's we need to be smart. We didn't create this universe. So the more we know about it, of course, look, there's evil. And the only way to know it, and to be safe from it, is to know what is good and what is bad. And you can't take other people's words for that, because you can be naive as anything. And I mean, this is, look what happens to children in this world. So third house is what you know. 11th house, Aquarius and Gemini are so tied because 11th house is what you do with what you know. And it's where you're a nonconformist. It's where you have to be your most unique self. Okay, the camera cut out before this card flew out on the table, but I'm going to keep it. Now, in terms of being your most unique self, I kind of feel like if we come back to I was going to say, the camera missed me saying, Now, the Lover's energy in terms of a partner. Now, does this Four of Cups and does the Knight of Cups all connect to, and the Seven of Cups, does it all connect to also a partnership that is, something is, now it could be just be a relationship, but because I'm wondering about, you know, the Lover's energy. And then this progress card came out of the Nine of Cups. It's in, now what it's doing is it's mirroring that Knight of Cups, right? Like there's a ways to go. Pisces energy, 12th house energy. So this is very close to the North Node. The North Node card is the 10 of Cups, and that's, you know, the direction you want to be heading in. And you want to look for that in your chart. But again, you need the correct sidereal chart to have the correct North Node. Now the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, but also being fully connected to guides. So there's, this is not, in terms of anything representing a love relationship, this is not looking, you know, it's not looking easy right now. We'll know more with the 7th house as well. But this looks like a fair bit of a lone energy. But again, if you're needing to work on so much identity stuff, then that is something that probably both of you are on a journey to, if you're together, no matter how you want to term it, but your lives are meshed together. If that's the case, or if you're alone, then it's very much time of doing what you need to, you know, like digging inside. That's what it is. And so everything is going to be in transit, in flux with that. Okay, so let's what you know. But again, knowledge. Again, there's been a disconnect. Okay, so let's see what 4th house of the connections can tell us. You know, ancestors, this is the house of ancestors and guides. We've got balance represented here. There is a 0 tolerance policy in Cancer's house for anything toxic. The moon will sift through your life to, you know, the moon that rules. And again, then we're talking about moon cycles and how it hits your emotions, right? So that Knight of Cups, because so far we just have, you know, you could be feeling certain ways just because of the energies. Okay, so progress card right out the bat. Venus is right here. Okay, so Venus, actually, who just left Cancer and is in Leo, is in your 4th house, working away. Empress is working away. Now, this for me is, I don't take this as an archetypal human energy. I take this as a divine energy, like a God energy. So for me, Kali, but grandmother spider. If we're going to go into, I'm just learning the correct name for, sorry about the garbage truck. The West African name that is, her name is taken and it's turned into Isis and things like that, but that's her true name. I will get it. It starts with an A. I just heard it for the first time yesterday. Yes, so my apologies. But somebody, so she is working in your life to manifest. We're in a very creative, either to do with children or to do with the projects themselves. Yes? And like those 10 wands, those 8 wands could all be children. They could be, you know. So here we have more progress. Right. Okay. So we have Pisces energy repeated here. King energy. And so further to that Knight, which is interesting, in your 1st house and here in your 4th house, you have the King energy. So this is where you want to get, this is almost like a North Node situation. You want to get strong in your roots because this is where your King energy is. This is what she's bringing you to, because she's near complete here, right? She's close to being done. So there's something about now why? What are we working on? What are we working on? We might not find out in this house. This is all we might know in this house. But it does mean being fully connected to your ancestors, your guides, your professional guides, your personal guides, guides that need your help. Look at that parallel, you know. Okay, yeah, absolutely. We're working towards full communion. So there would be a huge emphasis on that for alignment. We are working on, thank you, because the chariot needs to be aligned, right? The car needs to be perfectly aligned to run correctly. So to be safe. So we're working on issues of safety and alignment. That's what we're, okay, beautiful. Look how beautiful that is. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my God, Leo, that's like just right there. Wow. Love it. Okay. God, what a gorgeous 4th house you have, Leo. Okay. Now let's get to your house. Let's get to your 5th house. But absolutely. So you're in for detail work. You're in, not detail work, that would be decorative. You're in the shop getting alignment. Getting, yep. Because otherwise you're going to have a crash. But look at that divine timing with, and with that sun. Okay. Sliding out together. Wow. Da, da, da. What were we talking about, those projects? And starting off with that off camera when I got the 9 of Pentacles stuck sideways. Absolutely. Look what we have here. Now, why? Not quite at a square. Wow. We're going back to a 7 of Pentacles. Now, obviously, we have a 9, but the backwards energy, we're not, it's echoing the 8 of Wands, absolutely, like in its own way of the stuck 8 of Wands. Now for me, this is Capricorn 10th house energy, and this would be Taurus energy again. So if we look at your Taurus house, right, which had no pentacles in it whatsoever, right? That's just because we have it referenced here. 2nd house, yes. So we have that transformation happening, and the indecision about who to become, what to become in this, who you are in this world, what your career is. Sagittarius comes right before Capricorn, right? So all your creative stuff, and you're stuck for figuring out who the hell you are, or whether or not you believe. You know what? Whether or not you believe. We've got, because Sagittarius is about the truth and faith and healing and the truth. Gemini is also about the truth, and Sagittarius and Gemini are right across from each other. Complementary. Very much about what you believe, based on what you know. So I think there's a crisis of what you believe, who you believe you are. Which, you know, fair play, because this is not a fair world for that. We don't come in with our charts, do we? Somebody's really out to get us. Somebody's really out to get us. But here's where the beginning is, right? We have more Taurus, because we have Taurus for me energy repeated here. And this is where your career begins, is in your creativity. We're going to focus on the creativity because that's what's coming through. Now, whatever shape that creative thinking, like you could be the most scientific person on Facebook. You could be into sports. You could be whoever you are, Leo. Whatever is, you're Leo. So I know there are some shy Leos, absolutely, because you have all of different placements. But whatever it is, I don't mean to be presenting that I'm stuck in a certain mindset about what creativity means. Creative thinking is problem-solving thinking. But but whatever it is that is you, it's in your own house, and your house is very much, now we have the balance between, here we have echoing the balance between Mars and Venus, and, well, Moon actually, and Sun. So why did I say Mars and Venus? I don't know. Well, because I'm thinking of Mars and Venus being in Leo right now. Okay. Very, very interesting. But that's where, and this is in progress. He's on a 45-degree angle. Okay, so what do we do about it in the 6th house? The 6th house of problem solving, the 6th house of sorting out work environments, sorting out health, routines, habits, directly across from Pisces. So, but obviously ruled again by Mercury, same as 3rd house. So, you know, a repeat of the magician of the 3rd house, right? Mercury's the magician. So here he's very mature. He's not, let's say, at the Pisces level of being out in the world, floating around in the world. No, that's why I much prefer Virgo as fixed Earth, being in that mountain, you know, in the cave in the mountain, or, you know, doing the hermit thing. Okay, boom. Your 1st house energy right here. Aries energy, 1st house. Mars energy, torn between loyalties. We've got a ways to go before we make that decision. Okay, but very good place to have this, because this is exactly what the hermit will excel at. The magician has 2 wands and he's got to figure out how to work them together. No, but again, if there's a question of the fork in the road and working with somebody else, or which project to work on next, right? Because there are only 2. There's just 2 wands here. So, but it's usually a new situation. Do you want to say yes to the institution? Do you like what they do? Do you like what they stand for? Are there hidden things that you're going to find out about as you go that you don't want to, you know, are you saying yes to more than you know that you're saying yes to? Are you on an equal footing with whoever you're saying yes to, so that you understand the context and you're smart enough and you've got, you know, you've got the Page of Swords energy that says, okay, now I feel confident in my ability to, and, you know, to smell anything off, right? This all, I'm not, you know, I've done all my own work on myself. And I feel like if we're still working on ourselves, Leo, if we've got an identity thing happening, then it's probably not the best time to say yes to something until you're sorted, because the context, and what do we have about this? The page is in transformation. He's in progress, is what we're saying. And sorry about the stuff outside. They're digging up half the city. Hopefully it's not too loud on the camera. But actually what I'll do, bear with me. Okay, I've done what I can. I've closed the rest of the windows. So again, if we go back to that 2nd house energy, and the 2 of Swords, right? But we do have it answered in your creativity house. So there are collaborations that will come around. There are. But first things first, because 1st house came out before 2nd house. And then we have 4th house. So those 3 cups. If we go back to the 4th house and the alignment, yes, the alignment. We're back in fourth house. So when we get fourth house all sorted out and the toxicity is all taken care of, or whatever, the balance, just even not even anything negative, just completely knowing who you're working with, who your ancestors are, who your guides are. Now for fourth house, I've made it they brought it to me as a houseboat. And what they taught me in the month that I spent studying it in my astrology workbook series, what was it to the point, you know, it was painful, but and therefore, you know, clear. But everything that rocks your boat, how to be able to steady your boat against the water, against whoever's rocking the water, making waves in the water, right? And actually pushing back against, like using your magic, okay? So we have an issue about magic here. And we do not have strong Wands energy here. So we need to work on, again, so I think that's what the alignment then is about in fourth house, is getting your magic aligned and strengthened, Leo. That's what I think. And then we have the celebration, then we have full connection. We got 2 3s here, 3 3, master number, like it or lump it, in a master house. Thank you. Wow, this is coming through very clearly, Leo. Thank you so much. Which means that I feel it's, you know, I feel that it's fairly, I think you know exactly. I think you know exactly what's going on. Because otherwise they would be mirroring the confusion for me. Okay, so let's find out about these wands and these contracts and the others, and go to the 7th house, ruled by Venus again. Now she's showing up as Empress, right? In your 4th house. Here she is again as Justice. Right. Oh, now we have Virgo energy for me, 6th house energy. There is a sense of, okay, this is the fair exchange, but for me, it's also a free will soul contract card. And it's in the upright, and it's a 6, so there's a gift here, and it's here. It's not in progress, it's here, because we're fully upright. And it's right under, she is giving you a gift of, what? It's in Pentacles. And it's in justice. So there's some kind of justice coming through for you, Leo, that is financial. Okay, so a reverse tower now. Uranus in progress. Because it's a 45 degree. And that means that takes us back to your 11th house energy. Those 9 swords. Is that in your 3rd? I feel like that was in your 3rd. Yes, it was. So what was I saying about, we'll find out about this partnership. But again, yes. Okay, so that non-conformity, that uniqueness, working on now, because Uranus, now others will put this as a Pluto, Mars, Scorpio card, right? Bringing the tower. But for me, I'm an Uranus, Aquarius tower person. There are split camps on this, 2 camps on this. Because this is about, well, for me, it's about, it's less the death of, the creative death. Death is creative. It's you know, ending to begin. Because that's what Pluto energy and Scorpio energy is so good at. It's taking something that isn't and making it again, right? So for the tower, for me, it has everything to do with having, you're in a different part of the process. You are in the part of having pulled a bunch of things together, having a tremendous amount of awareness, and then you think you know what you're going to do with it, and boom. No, you're not going to do that with it. You're going to do this with it. And it seems like it's getting taken away. And really what it's doing is it's transforming. It's like this is a transformation energy, but it's a different kind. It's not a, this has to all be put to death. No. It's called, you thought you knew and you are going to switch it up on you. And then we'll show you how it all comes together, right? And so it's like all of a sudden, all these pieces of a puzzle that look like they belong to different puzzles from each other, they all start, really, that's what they're telling me right now. It's like, yeah, different pieces of puzzle. And it looks like you've got like a whole bunch of different puzzles and they're not going to match together. And all of a sudden the tower comes. And after the tower, then it's like, oh, holy shit, they all belong to the same puzzle. And so with that energy here, the non-conformity, the uniqueness. So the gift is attached to your uniqueness. Absolutely. So this is just, okay, parallel to that, but at a distance. Right. Your own energy again. And another 6. But this has a little ways to go when you get that accomplishment, that attention, that the fame, basically. Right? And the approval and the applause and, and you're in the full sun energy. We're looking back, right? You. So, yeah, you're fine tuning. But there could be this, you can feel it in the background. And it's been coming for a long time. This tower, it's a slow tower, right? It's a life tower. Okay. And that would have everything to do with your long-term situations with people. And that'll be across the board. Like everything. Okay, so then in contrast to that, let's see what Scorpio and Death and Pluto and Mars, I want to say in the 8th house. Now this the house obviously of the all-seeing eye, basically knowing everything, being, and of course the Knight of Cups and the 5, 6, 7 of Cups. So anything sexual, anything. Now for me as a Scorpio rising, the deepest of feelings, just the deepest, okay, like to the point of incapacitating you. Knowing everything before, like knowing without knowing how. But yeah, the house of transformation, the house of information gathering, the secrets, the lies, being a sin eater for people. But what else do I want to say? Your hidden wealth, your hidden powers, because that's what Pluto is all about. The deep stuff. Okay, so we have Virgo energy right here. We have a necessary change. So again, this is telling us why that Knight of Cups. Okay, so now we're going to get a bit more information possibly about the Knight of Cups, because there's a necessary change in finances. You've been out in the cold. Right? And that institution, if we talk about the institution that's in, the institutions that are in that 2nd house, right? With the Hierophant. Okay. And so if we go back to your 6th house and, the amazing stuff going on in the 6th house. What else? Maybe this is 8th house energy can be very clear, and it might be the only card we get. Or we might get Pluto as well. Beautiful. This is a beautiful reading. In terms of, yeah, God. Okay, so in progress. Pluto's in progress with what you don't know about yourself that you need to know. And again, if you don't know where your North Node is, if you don't have an accurate North Node with sidereal placements in a sidereal chart, you can still hang on. The month you were born in, the sign that you were born in, still hang on to that as your aura, right? But you got to separate your sun placement from that birth, because the sun's going to shift. It might still be in that sign, but it's going to be like 24 degrees away from where you thought it was. So it might be in the sign beforehand, in which case you just say, okay, I am this sign with this sun. But your first house, all your houses will change, right? So a lot of your, well, things will change, but you can still hang on to that identity, and that's what matters the most, right? But by and large, I watch for my, well, I am Taurus, born in Taurus season with an Aries sun, okay? That's why my pink spider charts are composite, not composite, because that would be two people together, but they're combined, okay? So I have tropical with sidereal inside it, plus calendar, Gregorian calendar, but so you need to know where your Pluto is. You need to know where your North Node is. But you need to know your whole chart. But in the meantime, just inside this reading, we know what you're, we know that you're in for alignment in your 4th house. We know that you have all your opportunities in your 5th house, right? We know that's where the career starts, is in your 5th house. So these things we know. This is why I pinpoint it with house readings. Okay, and that's in progress. Awesome. That's what's going on. That's why the Knight of Cups is like he is in your 1st house. That's why you are how you are right now. Beautiful. I don't need more than that for this house. What more do we need to know? So let's go to those 10 wands in reverse house. Let's go to Sagittarius, Temperance. So the long journeys, the being good with everybody and understanding everybody, the empathy of understanding what everybody else, how everybody else sees things, to the extent that, everybody thinks you agree with them. And what you were doing was empathizing and understanding and absorbing what they have to say. And you very much have your own opinions. And then when you come back with your own opinions, they're not happy. That's this house. Right. Woo! Sliding in right underneath there. So, that truth.